The ANC will hold a picket outside the Israeli embassy in Pretoria in solidarity with Palestine. A party spokesperson, Mutsiri, says the ANC has been consistent in calling for the self-determination of the people of Palestine. The picket comes after more than a week of intensified violent retaliatory attacks between Israel as well as Palestine since the unexpected military onslaught against Israel by Palestinian group Hamas 2 weeks ago. For more on this story, we now speak to SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo. Kaya, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. Just quickly tell us about how many people have arrived so far and what to expect the ANC to say this morning.
Well, absolutely, Aldrin. So where we are geographically located, we're just outside the Israeli embassy in Pretoria. I can tell you this much, security has been heightened here. I'm seeing a joint operation between the Tshwane Metro Police and also the South African Police Service as well to make sure that they deal with any particular eventuality. So what has been clear for the ANC is their support of the Palestine, but also this really dates back to so many decades during the fight against apartheid. Also, where then ANC leader Nelson Mandela made it very clear that South Africa is not free, or our freedom is incomplete as long as Palestine is still under the yoke of oppression. So the whole issue around calling for the two-state solution for the coexistence of the state of Israel and Palestine. So that has been a message, Aldrin, that the governing party in South Africa has been advocating. This past weekend, we saw also a very united front from the ANC, where we saw them wearing those Palestinian scarves. So where they'll be gathering is around a few kilometers from where we are located, around Hatfield, and then they'll be proceeding here and really just making their very message very clear to the Israeli embassy here.
And also one of the other things, of course, is the call that has been made by the president for a cessation of hostilities. But what are we seeing happening in the Middle East currently? Are we getting the impression at all that this call is being heeded? Also taking into consideration that you had that visit from Joe Biden as well as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Well, that's right, Aldrin. Not much really has happened in terms of the cessation of hostilities. And you are absolutely right. That has been a mantra for South African government, calling for the humanitarian corridor, albeit you have seen the Rafah crossing between Palestine and Egypt being open to allow those 20 trucks. But what you have seen is incredible shelling, the bombardment of the Gaza Strip. But also we do know that the second phase of the war, from the Israeli perspective, the groundwork has also started. I mean, really just looking now, especially around the border with Lebanon, where we've seen also the rockets coming from Hezbollah, which is one of the very main players in terms of what has been happening in the Middle East. But also, most importantly, the state of Israel really has been saying that this is their right of self-defense, especially because after that 7th October incursion by Hamas, others are saying this is one of the biggest incursions since 1973, where we saw that massive war happening in the Middle East. So, like you just say, Aldrin, we've seen shuttle diplomacy, where we've seen President Joe Biden of the United States going to the Middle East. But you do have quite a number of Arab leaders who have raised concerns that if the U.S. is continuously supplying the artillery, the armaments to Israel, it's not really becoming a very fair player in this regard, really raising so many concerns. But also from the regional players as well, like Egypt as well, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has been very clear that for them it's about humanitarian aid. They don't want to see the Palestinians going to the Sinai Peninsula, but also so many resolutions as well tabled before the UN Security Council, Aldrin, really showing the divisions, the polarized global institution that should be stepping up in terms of making sure that there is long-lasting solution in this regard.
Yeah. Just finally, have you heard anything from the Israeli embassy as yet with regards to this march that will be taking place in the picket outside their offices?
Well, at this point in time, Eldrin, we're still keenly waiting to hear from the Israeli embassy in terms of their point of view. But what we do understand is that for them, they do know that they do enjoy support in South Africa, especially from so many local groups like the Jewish Board of Deputies, the Friends of Israel, and so many political leaders in South Africa, the likes of COPE, Patriotic Alliance, who have really just been supportive of Israel in terms of making sure that they deal with Hamas, because as far as they are concerned, they do say this is a terror organization. But then on the other side, you do have those who are saying, look, the Palestinians are absolutely tired. It's been decades of occupation in terms of their territories. So this is really just an explosion of their emotion and the struggle that has been going on for some time, but also the sheer disrespect of so many resolutions from the UN General Assembly calling for the respect of the two-state solution. So we're just going to be stationed outside and monitoring the developments here.